Yo, what's up guys? It's Jack and welcome back to another video. And usually I don't make this kind of video. It's almost like a news kind of related thing, but it's not just me talking about what's been rumored in terms of the competitive aspect of Blackout, and that the fact that the reveal is going to happen tomorrow and all that good stuff. I don't typically make videos like that, but they kind of correlate with other things that I wanted to talk about, and that I have previously talked about, that I want to touch a little bit more on. But yeah, the one interesting thing that caught my attention, according to this rumor from Charlie Intel, is that according to from the PC files, obviously, that people have dug into apparently, and they've discovered new things or something like that. Either PC files or a pic that was leaked or something like that. I don't know. Just go to Charlie Intel and you'll find it. So, but anyway, they say that competitive in Black Ops 4 this time may not be 4v4. It could be 5v5. And in that aspect, I think it makes it very interesting, because obviously most of the modes, other than the chaos modes, are going to be 5v5. So basically, this makes it very interesting for competitive in terms of people that like to watch it. And another thing that's always been a topic of argument, or differing opinions and varying opinions, is the fact that competitive Call of Duty and the regular pubs aspect of Call of Duty are not exactly the same. It's like it's like different versions of the game or whatnot, and how they had to alter Call of Duty pubs from competitive in order to make it competitive, and for the rules to make sense, and for the 4v4 aspect, and all that kind of stuff, and to incorporate more skill as opposed to luck. Because if you have a noob tube and you fire it at a hard point, it's a lot easier to get a good amount of kills in a hard point doing that than it would be, like, let's say, going in there with your gun and taking out those people. It requires more technique, it requires more decision making, tactical considerations, and all that kind of stuff. And just to be fair, tactical doesn't always mean camping. It doesn't always, but majority of the time it does. But it doesn't always mean camping, because tactical to me also means decision making. So when there's less decision making, if most of your success depends on your decision making, that's competitive. But if it's just randomness, then it's not as competitive. So that's why they changed the rules for competitive COD in order to make it a thing. So anyway, and again, some people agree with it, some people disagree with it. Everybody has varying opinions, and both sides of the spectrum are correct. And that is the fact that, well, if you truly want to be the best of the world at something, according to some people, some of which I know, by the way, it's like you got to play with everything that's in the game from the get-go, and let the chips fall where they may, and decide on your strategies based off of everything that's in the game, as opposed to the game being altered just to just being limited to this or that. So and both sides of the spectrum, like I said, have their points, because they're both, it's like yin and yang at this point. So it's really an interesting debate and opinion subject. And the thing is, I actually agree with both. I understand why both exist or whatnot. And it would be interesting to finally see, like, can you imagine competitive COD, they all play the same thing that regular pubs do? I mean, can you imagine that? Because there's a reason why people don't play TDM in competitive COD. TDM is not a thing. It's usually search and destroy, hardpoint, and something else, depending on which iteration of Call of Duty is released. But usually it's hardpoint, search and destroy, and something else. But in Ghosts, search and destroy is definitely a given, but in Ghosts they had domination because there was no hardpoint, and they had a different version of capture the flag, and I forgot what it was called. I think it was called, no, it wasn't, no, not I keep on forgetting what it was called, but you guys know what I'm talking about, to where you had to run all the way across the map and go through the gate, the gateway to score. So anyway, so the fact that it's 5v5 could indicate that it may be more like pubs this time, or maybe it's just because of the fact that regular modes were 5v5. Obviously it's going to be a little bit more like pubs, because most of the modes other than the chaos modes are going to be 5v5. So that makes things very interesting. And also at the same time, you've got the fact that I'm really hoping and praying that they reveal maybe one or two new multiplayer maps that we haven't seen before, because we've only had there's been 12 for sure, including Nuketown, that's going to come out a month after the initial release. So in my opinion, even though 12 is better than 9, what we got in World War II, it's still a little bit lacking, because there was there was a point where they only had 2 years to make a game, and they released with like 16 maps. So there you go. So I know that they spent a lot of time on Blackout and all that kind of other stuff, but still, you gotta, these guys are, one of the things to keep the balance is you can't take away from something in order to appease something else. And I feel, by the way, for those of you guys that absolutely are campaign people, I feel your pain, and I'm so sorry that you guys are not getting a campaign this year. So, but hopefully you enjoy zombies, and hopefully you enjoy multiplayer, and hopefully you had a blast with Blackout, and hopefully that keeps you guys interested. But yeah, I'm very sorry for those of you guys that are into campaigns, because I know that there are a lot of you that are. So. And obviously, for hardcore, maybe it'll be interesting. I mean, and one of the things, speaking of which, is like the hardcore community. There's a good amount of hardcore players out there. Obviously, compared to core players and all that other stuff, it's a relatively smaller community. But let's hope and pray that the hardcore community gets a good amount of love this year. At least not have anything taken away or dumbed down because they want other things to happen instead. I mean, I hope the hardcore community is going to be happy with what they get this year. And there's usually never anything announced in terms of hardcore. It's like you only see core, you only see zombies, you see the new mode that they introduced, but there's never really any hardcore news until like a day or two before release, when people get early copies of the game and they leak that stuff online. So hopefully you guys will get a good amount of love this year. And yeah, I really would like to see more multiplayer maps revealed, and really curious to see how how firing range and all those are going to look. Probably similar to what they looked in Blackout, but with boundaries obviously, and with better graphics. At least I hope. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what they announce, because it really is always interesting. And remember, if a Call of Duty is really good, like this one is gonna be, and in my opinion, overall, I think it's definitely gonna be. When you watch the competitive aspect, and you got people like Clayster that are basically saying, that tweeted out not too long ago, like, hey, let's play with everything in the game, so that way we can get more of an audience retention, because they can relate to what we can relate to what they play, and they can relate to what we play, and they can understand what's going on. So I definitely understand that, and I think it's a good way to go about it. You got nothing to lose. So anyway, guys, that's all I got for this one. Let me know down in the comment section what you think. Do you guys think they're going to have more maps, or do you think 12 to 14 at the very most is what we're going to get? And as always, let me know if you enjoyed the video, and if you didn't, let me know what I could do to make my videos better, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.